Hi everyone, my name is Satyajit Sinha. I'm a principal analyst at IoT Analytics. We are a market intelligence provider. Today we're going to talk about the sustainability equation, looking into technology, retrofit, and return on investment, which is more important. We have a great panel today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves one by one. Please go ahead.
Matt Lubleley.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it on? My name is Matt Lubleley. I'm from MultiTech Corporation. I head up the sensor portfolio and the connected building strategy.
Yep.
Hey, my name is Schröder. I'm with Thermokon, a leading company in building automation. We have LoRaWAN sensors in our portfolio for 5 years, and we see a huge trend for radio technology in existing buildings. And I'm leading the business development department.
Hi everyone, my name is Violeta Mitsova. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer of MClimate. We do a lot of, we manufacture of sensor technologies. We have over 20 sensors developed, and I take charge of sustainability internally and externally for end customers.
Great. Sustainability is a topic, I mean, it's a word as well, it's getting a lot of traction in the market. But we want to understand where we will bifurcate as it as a buzzword or as a real impact. I mean, it will be great to have an answer from all of you. Any examples that how anyone can, separate a real impact or it's a marketing word? What makes a difference whenever we talk about sustainability? You can start.
Yeah, for us, there is a real impact that we can measure, and since we have the data from all the sensors that we install, it's quite easy to see that there is a measurable impact related to sustainability. I think in most of our cases, we look at energy management and energy savings, and with the energy savings, we translate that into CO2 footprint. So essentially, let's say a 35% savings of energy is usually 20-30% of a CO2 savings impact, which is what we can provide for our customers.
Great. Mario?
Thanks. Yeah, I agree with all the points that Violeta already mentioned. We're doing similar stuff. But in my point of view, sustainability is still really a buzzword for marketing activities. And what we are doing is to check for evidence. So in easy words is, do you see a change of the number? It's real. And if not, it's marketing.
Correct. Makes sense. Matt?
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I like to see that there's a tangible ROI these days. It's kind of be able to match that commensurate with what the data tells you.
Yeah.
So in order to go do that, you got to really stand up a POC. So whether that's energy management or water management, something that has a tangible ROI to get funded really, I think these days is the baseline. So it has multi-purpose. Not only are you helping out from a sustainability perspective overall, but you're also helping out the bottom line as well. So you're either making or saving the company money.
Makes sense. I'm coming to you, Violeta, to understand that from MClimate perspective, I mean, which building type showcase the biggest sustainability impact for you? And it would be great to have some examples to understand the measurement of it. What makes you feel that this is the KPI to say this is the most important one?
Yeah. I think in general, most of the buildings that are 15 plus years old are the ones that we target the most, that have obsolete building management system or something that doesn't work, like a room by room control or occupancy-based control. So for example, schools and hospitals are one of the biggest targets that we have. And the project that I have in mind is generating 37% of energy savings and around 30% of CO2 savings. It's a hospital we did last year in France with 8 buildings, 100,000 square meters. And again, it was 2 days of installation. So I think really that's down to show that within a day you can equip 8 buildings with 420 sensors for radiators, radiator control. And then with 48 additional humidity and temperature sensors, we managed to get full control of the building and to achieve those savings. And really, I think when you look down to what time it required, it's 2 to 3 minutes per sensor to get onboarded and get live data from these sensors for the building. So I think that's just one of the examples. But yeah, it's many of those that people can talk to that show you that with a really small investment of time, without construction works, without any building works, you can onboard a building very quickly.
Interesting, makes sense. I'm coming to you, Matt and Mario. I mean, this question makes sense to both of you. Start with Mario. You guys have a journey from wired to wireless and also focusing on LoRaWAN technology. Want to understand that journey, but also need to understand how it makes sense from a sustainability point of view or sustainability development point of view. So it will be very interesting to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I have to say Thermokon, the company, is not getting rid of the cable. So
Yeah.
we are adding additional technology to cover all potential projects.
Okay.
And when it comes to LoRaWAN, it's a perfect fit for retrofit projects,
Yeah.
especially when the building is already rented.
Yeah.
So there's no disruption in the processing, or so nobody have to leave the building.
Yeah.
So as Violeta already mentioned, the installation is very easy. It's just entering the room, installing some sensors in minutes instead of days or hours when you use cabling.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest advantage. So as mentioned, I wouldn't get rid of the cable because we see a lot of projects where cable is absolutely necessary or the better solution.
Yeah.
But for the future, for sustainability, retrofit projects of existing buildings, radio technology, especially LoRaWAN in the building, is a great fit to achieve governmental goals.
Yeah.
And to be ready to report the savings and have immediately impact. That's it.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Matt.
Yeah, and from my perspective, we're 100% wireless, although we do work quite a bit with BMS system integrators who have traditionally hardwired networks.
Yeah.
And so we really see, from a sustainability perspective, that wireless and sustainability as an overlay into the BMS system.
Yeah.
So you're still pushing the data into the same place.
Correct.
But from a sustainability perspective, we'll give an example of, we'll call it dock door and window monitoring. So we have a sensor that's it's an open door close, so essentially it'll tell you the state of the door, open or closed, coupled with temp and humidity.
Correct.
Where that's useful is in dock doors, for example, if you're pushing the dock door up and down, and you're, say, in, we'll say Phoenix, Arizona in the summertime, and trucks are backing up, right? The amount of heat coming out of those trucks, plus it's in the middle of July, twofold from a sustainability perspective. You got occupational health and comfort, so the associate that's working there to unload that, doesn't want to have that, heat all of a sudden come blasting at them.
Correct.
So you can actually take a proactive approach coupled with the thermostat to be able to
Correct.
see that coming with the HVAC and the temperature to be able to kind of cool that down. But by the same token, you're also putting less load onto the RTU as well, and overall saving energy costs plus sustainability.
Makes sense. Makes sense. With this point, I think there's a key trend that we are seeing in the market, and correct me if I'm wrong, like it's wired to wireless for HVAC system. And Violeta, I want to start from you, man. What is the single biggest driver moving for HVAC, for wired to wireless in existing buildings? And if you have any examples for deployment perspective, that will be great to understand.
Yeah, I think Mario already stressed on the fact that really it's much easier if you don't have to pull new cable, but the cabling is already there.
Yeah.
So really from a perspective of retrofit, it's more getting more HVACs on board and having a room-by-room control.
Yeah.
But instead of doing more cabling work, you just use the wireless technology. So there's a lot of fan coil thermostats. We are producing one. There's a few other Chinese manufacturers. Thermokon is launching one as well, I think. So really the fan coil thermostat with a wireless technology is what allows you to power up devices room by room and really have that much quicker speed to onboard buildings quickly.
Makes sense. Mayu?
All said. Yeah, so the huge benefit of all this is the fast installation and flexibility, scalability, and the enormous reach of the technology.
Okay.
So we had a building which was planned to destroy.
Yeah.
And the owner found a concept to do a multifunctional building. So we had several rooms, youth club, podcast studios, office spaces, and all they had to have a individual heating schedule.
Yeah.
And with the LoRaWAN technology, it was really easy to equip the buildings with the needed sensors.
Yeah.
And with the appropriate software, we had the chance to bring in the individual schedule for each room. So instead of destroying an existing building, it was a one-day installation, and we have now a multifunction building running. So that's
Okay.
a great achievement in my point of view.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, and for us, it's about the data and where it's landing, and
Yeah.
for HVAC and BMS and system
Yeah.
integrators that play in that space, really they want to be able to push that data into the BMS, right?
Yeah.
And so how do we lower that complexity to be able to overlay a wireless
Yeah.
LoRaWAN network into a traditional BMS over a hardwired? So simplifying that, and then being able to deploy at scale in a quick fashion.
Yeah.
Obviously, the straightforward answer in terms of how we see this versus hardwired is just the cost of cabling, right? To be able
Yeah.
to go and drop a cable versus that from a retrofit is just a pretty straightforward ROI for most BMS
Correct.
integrators to be able to go down a path with wireless LoRaWAN.
And time to deployment as well, right? Because
Yeah,
we've wired,
absolutely.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's more efficient, and some might say, hey, guess what? That's kind of what system integrators do. They do
Correct.
pull cable for a living, and you
Correct.
might be impacting them. But
Yeah.
overall, they can actually do more, add more value to their customers,
Correct.
and offer more strategic value to their
Yeah,
customers.
Violeta, you bring the topic of retrofit, and it's very interesting to understand as this is also a trend of the retrofit versus reimbursement, refurbishment, and where you see this trend going, and in terms of speed and ROI, what makes more sense, and how do you guys are implementing this decision between the retrofit versus refurbishment?
I think if we put retrofit is probably with sensors, and refurbishment is like building works. If we make this differentiation here, I think a lot of people think installing a solar PV panel will do the job for sustainability, or having like a more complex new heat pump that is going to work for them, or re-roofing, or doing more glazing. Again, those are good refurbishment strategies, but they all require building works and emitting more CO2 as a result. So essentially what we say is that retrofit is probably the easiest and the quickest step to do first.
Correct.
Only with sensors and actuators that don't even require drilling on the wall in most of the cases.
Correct.
You can already make the building smart and start a process where you're saving energy. And then I think that on the return on investment for that case, since you don't having any building works and you don't have to close the building. So we have a lot of hotels that continue to operate as hotels that we retrofit while they have guests checking out and someone's cleaning the room. Essentially, you don't have to stop the operations of the building. And then the return on investment is 1 or 2 heating seasons or cooling seasons, depending on the geography. And essentially, that is what we try to factor in. Whereas for PV panels and heat pump, I think the return on investment is usually 3 to 7 years. It's a much longer horizon to deal with.
Correct. Quickly, just on follow up on that, any regulation is there which is influencing this decision making, or do you see no, there is no regulation play over here?
There are quite a few regulations that are influencing this, a lot of them on European Union level, but they're very country specific. So for example, one of our biggest markets are right now Germany and France. There is the Bax decree in France, which has a regulation around a certain type of buildings that have consumption, that they have to be occupancy-based heating in all of them. And that requires a lot of sensors and actuators to be put in place. And in the same time, for example, in Germany, there is a BEG, which is efficiency law that allows grants for companies that also decide to do energy efficiency measures. And I think in the case of Germany, that drove a lot of sales with 15% funding on both the software and hardware installment. And then there is always a lot of things that are coming in as new requirements to deal with, but sometimes they're funded, which makes it even more easy to work with.
Makes sense. Maya, you want to add something?
Yeah. In my point of view, there is no right or wrong, so it depends on the project. So in case the building is rented, so you do not have a chance for construction work.
Correct.
You cannot put the tenements out. In those projects, you have to use IoT sensors, which you have to integrate. But on the other hand, when it's a new construction, or you have to it's not rented. So it depends on the system which is already existing. If it makes sense to do cable work or not. But as Violeta already mentioned, that the buildings we are focusing are more than 15 years old. So they have an old building management system integrated or a non-system integrated. So and for those projects, it's really, really easy to do it with LoRaWAN technology. And it's an example. So you can calculate it at the return on investment in a few years or in a longer period. So it depends all on the savings, on the schedule you have in your software. But from return on investment perspective, retrofit is always the return on investment on a retrofit project is always faster.
Okay.
So because you do not need the cabling, you
Correct.
do not the working hours of the workers. So
Yeah.
all the other components are more or less similar,
Correct.
and you have no shutdown. So
Yeah.
how much does it cost to close a hotel for a week or for several days?
Yeah.
So that are the components which make the return on investment for IoT solutions faster, in my point of view.
Matt.
Yeah, and just a real quick follow-up, because great comments here, is really just for us, we focus in on the time to ROI, right? So whether that calculation's a couple of years, 3 to 5 years, whatever it may be, however we can as a company compress that time to get the ROI going is really where we start to focus in on, because as soon as we start delivering that, the results start to happen.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. One of the trend is also something as an industry analyst, I'm seeing that bifurcation between low power devices and energy harvesting devices. I mean, it's very important to first bifurcate that to make them understand, but how do you do that bifurcation, and what is the impact that you see in the sustainability point of view, specifically from energy harvesting devices that you see in your deployments?
Yes, we started looking at sustainability from design point of view, since we are in charge of design of our own devices.
Yeah.
So energy harvesting and LoRaWAN first as a technology was first chosen because of the long battery lifetime of 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So essentially we try to reduce the waste of batteries. With the energy harvesting, we have now sensors fully operated by indoor lighting or outdoor lighting, or the combination of both depending on where it is. We have a lot of customers in the Nordics as well, and there it's artificial lighting that charges the sensors rather than light. Yeah. But yeah, we have now fully operated CO2 sensors that can live on light harvesting as a technology, and it's a solar panel that the old calculators used to have, for example, just as an example. And yeah, really that changes the game. And I think when we look at devices, their operations can also harvest energy. So we are looking at actual things we can do for sustainability point of view that are embedded in the design of the devices. So they're not only good for the end use case that we are looking at, but we are also designing them with sustainability in mind.
Correct.
Yeah, energy harvesting is the next step in the LoRaWAN world, in my point of view. So what Violeta already mentioned, that first manufacturers are having energy harvesting devices. So we are doing energy harvesting valve, which comes out during the next week. So it has a lot of advantages compared to battery-powered solutions, especially on locations where you cannot change batteries, rented places or hard-to-access places. So then energy harvesting is a game changer. And also for buildings which have a huge demand on IoT sensors, so the facility manager is not happy to change thousands of batteries after 5 years. Yeah. It's not sustainable. It's cost intensive and takes a lot of working hours. Yeah. So from that point of view, it's great to see that already some companies do have energy harvesting sensors. Yeah. And as mentioned, that's the future in LoRaWAN. And yeah,
makes sense. Matt?
Yeah, and we've just launched a wireless CT clamp that is inductively charged as well, so it uses energy harvesting essentially. And I think to the points here, right, one, you're saving on a battery from a sustainability perspective, so you're not putting that into the landfill. And then if you look at it from a customer or end user perspective in the facilities management team, it's really about the change out, right, of those, the asset life cycle of those sensors and or products that are out in the field.
Great, interesting. Now, quickly I want to understand, in very short, what is each company's focus on future outlook, specifically from a sustainable point of view. quick wrap up to understand, that would be great. Matt, you can start.
Yeah, no, from a MultiTech perspective, we see two key areas for us from a sustainability perspective. Well, three. Anytime you can do anything with temperature and working in with thermostats, obviously that's going to be an energy saving perspective. But then we also look at it really from energy and water consumption, right? Those two are key pieces for us. If we can go and show tangible results as it relates to the reduction of either energy and or water, that is where we're going to focus our efforts, because we feel that that's got, again, a real life ROI associated with it. Plus, in addition, it also serves the sustainability metrics that companies are looking for.
Makes sense. Mario?
From Thermokon perspective, is that we help run buildings most energy efficient. And on the side effect with our CO2 sensors, we increase the well-being of the tenants or of the workers. So this has also influence of the performance of the workers and health perspective. So this is what we can do. So main topic is always improve building performance, but the side effect is also available. So
great. Got it down.
I think at MClimate, as I mentioned, we look at sustainability holistically, both on the inside for our devices, but also for end customers. And I think what we try to achieve now is to make customers more compliant. So when there's new regulations coming in place, we try to provide the data required for customers to be compliant. So for example, the life cycle assessment is something that we're doing for our devices, end of product type of solutions for our batteries and all the devices we do. We have firmware update over the air that allows us for our devices to be always up to date. So really we make the life cycle of the devices kind of in line with the batteries or no batteries whatsoever. So really we try to make a product that's long lasting and also helping the sustainability initiatives of the end customers.
Great, thanks. Thank you all for the great insights that you presented. It makes me complete sense that sustainability is one of the key aspects, but at the same time, ROI from that completely makes sense. I think LoRaWAN and IoT technology has a huge potential to bring the sustainability deployments in the market very soon. Thank you everyone for joining for this panel, and thank you everyone for the insights. Thank you.